The mysterious disappearance of the Jamison family in the small town of Eufaula, Oklahoma. A private family lived a seemingly normal life in their lakeside home. However, beneath the surface, the Jamison family struggled with personal demons and financial difficulties. In October 2009, they made a fateful decision to relocate to a more secluded area, which would ultimately lead to their tragic fate. Bobby Jamison, his wife Sherilyn, and their 6-year-old daughter Madison made up the tight-knit family. They had married in 2004 and had a comfortable life, owning several timeshares in the US and Mexico. However, they were deeply religious and paranoid about spirits invading their home. At the time of their disappearance, both Bobby and Sherilyn were unemployed and receiving disability benefits. Bobby suffered from chronic back pain due to a car accident, while Sherilyn struggled with depression and bipolar disorder. Despite their struggles, they decided to move to a quieter place, considering purchasing a 40-acre plot of land in the Red Oak area. The family planned to live in metal shipping containers, but the reason for this choice remains unclear. On October 9, 2009, the Jamisons visited the property without the real estate agent, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Their truck was found in the area, but the family was nowhere to be seen. It took over a week for anyone to notice their absence, and when their truck was discovered on October 17th, alarms were raised. The investigation into their disappearance revealed a complex web of secrets and lies. The family's financial struggles, personal demons, and paranormal beliefs all came under scrutiny. However, the truth about what happened to the Jamison family remains a mystery. Years later, a gruesome discovery was made, deepening the enigma. The case of the Jamison family remains unsolved, leaving behind a community searching for answers. What happened to Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison? The truth may never be known, but their story serves as a reminder that even in the most seemingly normal families, secrets and struggles can lead to tragic consequences. The vehicle also contained some intriguing items. Inside the truck were the family's coats, their cell phones, maps, and approximately $32,000 in cash. Their dog, Maisie, was also found in the truck in very poor condition, suffering from dehydration and starvation. An 11-page letter, apparently written by Sherilyn, was also found in the truck. In the letter, Sherilyn criticized Bobby for being a hermit and not taking good enough care of the family, and she expressed her desire for a divorce. Authorities launched an extensive search for the missing family, employing search dogs, people on horseback, helicopter patrols, and more. The rocky terrain and steep cliff sides posed significant challenges for the searchers, further complicated by wet and muddy conditions. Regarding the truck, the Latimer County Sheriff at the time stated, "I think they were forced to stop and got out of the truck to meet with someone they recognized, and I think they either left willingly or by force." The last few pictures on Bobby's cell phone were of Madison sitting in front of a rock. Some observers believe Madison appears frightened, or at least uneasy in the photos. Her arms are crossed, and though she has somewhat of a smile, some believe that it didn't seem genuine. One witness reported seeing fresh tire tracks leading away from the Jamisons' truck, suggesting that the family might have gotten into another vehicle. He never saw them come back down the mountain. A quarter-mile from where the Jamisons' truck was found, he likely would have noticed any other activity in the area. Although investigators question this witness, there is no information indicating that he was ever completely ruled out as a suspect. Reportedly, the couple had issues with a family friend who'd been staying with them. Allegedly, Sherilyn forced the man to leave at gunpoint, even firing bullets into the floor near his feet. Authorities investigated this man, but ultimately cleared him in the case of the family's disappearance. The Jamisons' pastor also came forward, sharing information with authorities about Bobby's behavior in the weeks leading up to their disappearance. Bobby reportedly told the pastor that he had been seeing spirits around his home and asked if there was a bullet that could kill them. Additionally, Sherilyn claimed that someone had poisoned her cats in the weeks before the family's disappearance. To combat this, she spray-painted phrases on the side of the shipping container they planned to live in. One of the phrases read, "Witches do not like it when their cats are killed." The The Jamison family had issues with the Eufaula School District after pulling their daughter Madison out of kindergarten. They subsequently planned to sue the district. Lawsuit are unknown, but Madison's removal from classes explains why the school didn't alert anyone when she went missing. In 2009, Bobby also filed a lawsuit against his parents, alleging that his father had tricked him into working for free, promising him a half stake in the family business in the future. Bobby also claimed that his father had threatened to kill him and his family multiple times. Investigators looked into both lawsuits and the associated claims to determine if there was any connection to the family's disappearance. They found no links. Moreover, Bobby's father was in a nursing home when the family vanished, leading investigators to rule him out early on. He passed away a few months after the family went missing. Rumors circulated that both Bobby and Sherilyn were meth users, prompting investigators to explore a possible drug angle. Surveillance footage, recorded at the Jamison home on the day of their disappearance, was peculiar and fueled these rumors. In the footage, the Jamisons appeared to be loading their truck in what some describe as a trance-like state. This led to the belief that they were under the influence of a substance. However, investigators found no evidence that the Jamisons were involved in buying or selling drugs, even after thoroughly searching their truck and home. Another notable detail from the surveillance footage is that Sherilyn can be seen loading a brown briefcase into the truck. This briefcase was never found with the truck and has never been located. The contents of the briefcase and its whereabouts remain unknown. Some friends and family of the Jamisons believe that they had been kidnapped, possibly at gunpoint. This theory seemed plausible because of the important items left behind in the truck, including a large amount of cash, their phones, and the family dog. The scene suggested they left in a hurry, leaving behind these essential belongings. However, authorities were never able to uncover any information or clues that suggested a possible abduction. But perhaps a startling discovery would change the course of the investigation. In 2013, deer hunters in the Smokestack Hollow area discovered what they believed to be human remains. They reported the finding to authorities, who confirmed that the partial remains were indeed human and sent them to the medical examiner. The discovery site was about 3 miles from where the family's pickup truck had been abandoned. The bodies were reportedly found lying side by side and face down in the dirt, an unusual position that raised suspicions about whether they had been intentionally placed that way. It wasn't until July of 2014 that the medical examiner formally confirmed the remains as those of the Jamison family. However, due to the advanced stages of decomposition, the cause of death could not be determined. The medical examiner released the autopsy results stating that there was no evidence of trauma and the cause of death for the family remained unknown. Due to the incomplete nature of the remains, affected by weather and animal predation, foul play could not be fully ruled out. The report noted a small hole in the back of Bobby's skull, which could have been from a bullet. However, it was also possible that this hole was caused by an animal after his death. Due to the passage of time since the Jamison family's disappearance, numerous theories have emerged about what happened to them. It's possible that the family wandered off and succumbed to the elements. The weather was chilly, and without their coats, they could have frozen to death. While 40 degrees Fahrenheit is not extremely cold, it is still possible to get hypothermia in such conditions. Also, it is clear there were troubles in the Jamison marriage. This was made evident by the long letter Sherilyn had written to Bobby. Sherilyn also struggled with mental health issues, including bipolar disorder, and was known to always carry a .22 caliber pistol. Some speculate that Sherilyn is the reason for their death due to that last detail. If Sherilyn had planned to murder her husband and child before killing herself, it is likely she would have used a firearm to control the situation. With Bobby standing at 6'A", 170 pounds, and Sherilyn a mere 5'A", 105 pounds, it is doubtful she could have overpowered him without a weapon. And a .22 caliber bullet could pierce a human skull, making this theory plausible. However, the autopsy report found no evidence of gunshots on the bodies, unless one considers the small hole in Bobby's skull to be unquestionably a bullet wound, which remains uncertain. Typically, a bullet would be found in the skull cavity, or there would be evidence of an exit wound. Additionally, if a firearm had been used, Sherilyn and Madison would likely have had gunshot evidence on their remains as well. Moreover, if Sherilyn had used a gun to end their lives, the firearm would likely have been found at the scene, but no gun was discovered. Some have also suggested that the bizarre deaths of the Jamison family were the result of ritual cult killings. Sherilyn's mother, Connie Cocotin, firmly believes that a religious cult was responsible for the family's deaths. She has stated, "Like I've said from the very beginning, I think somebody killed them. There's just no way that Bobby and Sherilyn would ever let anything happen to Madison unless something had been done to them." While Cocotin insists that a cult was involved in the deaths of the Jamison family, happened to Madison unless something had been done to them. While Cocotin insists that a cult was involved in the deaths of the Jamison family, she has not identified a specific cult. She has, however, claimed that her daughter was on a hit list maintained by this cult. Bobby's uncle, Jack Jamison, also believes that foul play was involved, although it is unclear whether he attributes it to a cult or ritual killing. There are also some who believe that the Jamison family's deaths were the result of a drug deal gone wrong. However, authorities have not released any information indicating that drugs were found in the family's home, which makes this theory less convincing. And if it had been a drug deal that went awry, why didn't the perpetrators take the $32,000 in cash? Interestingly, Sherilyn's son from a previous relationship mentioned that he saw his mother just a few weeks before the family went missing. She didn't mention anything about moving to the San Bua Mountains. It seems unlikely that she would have omitted such a significant life change in conversation with her son. This entire case is puzzling for many reasons. Even after the bodies of the Jamison family were found and identified, more questions emerged about their fate. While some family members believe they were murdered, others remain uncertain. The inconclusive autopsy report has led to widespread speculation about what exactly transpired. Overall, this case is a perplexing and tragic one, and we may never fully understand what happened to the Jamison family. The many years their bodies spent in the Samoa Mountains allowed the elements and predators to obscure any potential evidence. Had the bodies just been discovered sooner, their deaths might not be the puzzle it is today. Regardless of the circumstances, the remaining family members and loved ones deserve closure and answers. Perhaps someone out there holds the key to giving them that peace. Until then, the disappearance of the Jamison family remains still an unsolved mystery. In the luxurious month of August in the year 2018, the elegant 27-year-old Maine Cordy, accompanied by her sophisticated mother, Jennifer Weathers, graced the wedding of a dear family friend in the picturesque Yamhill County, Oregon. What was anticipated to be a night of joyous dancing and jubilation took a dark turn. As they made their way back home that fateful evening, an unfortunate incident occurred to Mayan. The truth of what transpired remains a mystery known only to 3 individuals, one of whom has departed from this world. Another insists that Mayan mysteriously disappeared after exiting the vehicle, and the third, a mere 3-year-old child, was seated in her car seat, too young to articulate the events that transpired during her final moments with her mother. The perplexing case of how Maine Cordy was discovered at the base of a ravine beside a road in Dayton is riddled with contradictions and profound exasperation. This is the enigmatic tale of her tragic fate. Maine Cordy, born in December 1990 to Jennifer Weathers and Anton Cordy, was a radiant soul who brought joy to everyone around her. Her father, Tony, a former Clackamas fire captain, raised her in the picturesque state of Oregon. In 2015, Mayan welcomed her precious daughter, Gia, into the world, and from that moment on, her world revolved around her little princess. Known for her infectious smile that could brighten even the darkest of days, Mayan was described by her Aunt Tracy as someone who lived to spread happiness. Her carefree spirit and willingness to be silly just to see others smile made her a beloved presence wherever she went. On the 18th of August, Mayan, her mother Jennifer, and her 3-year-old daughter Gia graced a family friend's wedding at the picturesque Heiser Farms, a charming events venue nestled in a serene rural setting. The ambiance was nothing short of idyllic, providing the perfect backdrop for celebrating love with cherished ones. The day prior, a disagreement arose between Mayan and her mother regarding who would take the wheel to the unfamiliar wedding venue. Jennifer insisted that Mayan drive her own vehicle so she could leave early with Gia if needed, allowing Jennifer to revel in the evening's festivities. Ultimately, it was Jennifer who assumed the role of the driver. While the presence of any alcohol-related issues remains uncertain, the unfolding events clearly indicate the significant influence of alcohol. The wedding ceremony was a sight to behold, followed by a jubilant reception where libations flowed freely and merriment abounded. However, amidst the revelry, Mayan and Jennifer found themselves embroiled in a heated argument, both having imbibed. Observant guests noted Jennifer's apparent inebriation, with some describing her as teetering between a 6 to 8 on the drunkenness scale of 1 to 10 as state unfit for driving. As the night progressed, Gia grew weary around 10 p.m., understandably so for a 3-year-old amidst the lively music and unfamiliar surroundings. Mayan, reluctant to linger with a restless toddler, found herself at odds with Jennifer, who was keen on extending the festivities. Jennifer's discontent was palpable as she alluded to Mayan's predicament with Gia, foretelling the early departure that ensued. Departing the celebration, Jennifer assumed the driver's seat with Mayan by her side, while Gia remained secured in her car seat at the back. The dispute persisted within the vehicle, and after covering a brief distance, Jennifer came to a halt, and Mayan disembarked. Her cell phone emitted a signal in that location, which is how the authorities were made aware of the incident. They continued to argue until Jennifer persuaded Mayan to re-enter the car. This time, she was seated with Gia in the back seat. While on the road, Mayan placed a call to her boyfriend, who could hear the ongoing argument between the two in the background. It was intense, with screaming. Some reports indicate that Mayan informed her boyfriend that Jennifer was intoxicated. After that phone call, Mayan's boyfriend would never speak to her or see her alive again. The version of events that Jennifer recounted to the authorities in the days following this fateful car ride is as follows. Jennifer claims that Mayan, angered by their argument, demanded that she stop the car so she could exit. Jennifer complied, and Mayan left the car, leaving her phone and shoes behind. Jennifer called out for Mayan from the driver's side window, but when she turned the car around to search for her, Mayan was nowhere to be found. She spent the next 30 minutes driving back and forth along that stretch of road in search of Mayan before deciding to return home, stating that she wanted to bring Gia back home. Jennifer believed that Mayan had either hitched a ride with someone or made it back to the wedding venue. Jennifer returned home that night, went to bed, and fell asleep, all the while unaware of whether her daughter had made it home safely. She hadn't. The next morning, on August 19th, Jennifer woke up and discovered that Mayan had not returned. She decided to see if she could report her missing, but instead of calling, she dialed the non-emergency line. During the call, she stated that she had spent 2 hours that morning searching for Mayan, but had been unable to find her. This call has been the subject of much debate, from Jennifer's choice of words to her tone of voice. Although she appeared composed throughout the conversation, people do handle stress differently. Nevertheless, the mention of contacting the correctional facilities and medical facilities appears peculiar. If Jennifer truly believed that her daughter may have been arrested or seriously injured to the point of being hospitalized, one would expect a heightened sense of urgency. Moreover, once those possibilities have been ruled out, concerns do not diminish. If anything, they intensify. At this point, Mayan could be injured in an inaccessible location without the means to seek assistance, or worse yet, she could have entered a vehicle with the wrong individual. The authorities received the report and treated Mayan's sudden disappearance with great seriousness. It was reported that she had exited a vehicle at night on a dark, unlit road in an unfamiliar rural area, which seemed to be a recipe for disaster. An appeal was made for volunteers to assist in the search for Mayan, and her image was widely circulated throughout the local area. 300 volunteers and emergency personnel gathered to comb through the woods, rivers, and farmlands where Mayan was last seen, yet there was no sign of her along this route. To provide context, on the day of her disappearance, Mayan had visited a store where a family friend works, not far from the wedding venue. The friend had complimented Mayan's attire, a blue floral jumpsuit, to which Mayan had responded with gratitude. The friend was shocked to learn of the disappearance, but not surprised that someone could vanish in that area. By the end of the first day, Mayan's loved ones were devastated to learn that there were no updates. She remained missing, and time was of the essence. Given the unusual circumstances surrounding Mayan's disappearance and the knowledge that the authorities had about the last person she was seen with, it is not unexpected that they sought to speak with Jennifer Weathers. However, they first wanted to search her vehicle, where they discovered Mayan's cell phone and shoes in the front seat, where Mayan had initially been seated when she departed from the wedding venue. Mayan's forgotten phone was indeed concerning, but the discovery of a clump of blonde hair in the car was even more distressing. The fact that the roots were still attached indicated that it had been forcibly pulled out, not cut. It was becoming increasingly apparent that the altercation Jennifer mentioned was far more serious than initially conveyed. Jennifer's responses during questioning, especially while connected to a lie detector, raised suspicions. Although the results of the test cannot be used in court, they could potentially lead the investigators to the truth. It seemed as though Jennifer was attempting to shift the blame onto Mayan, despite the fact that all available sources painted Mayan as a devoted mother. Jennifer's account of Mayan calling her boyfriend for help lacked crucial details, leaving many questions unanswered. Given the reports of Jennifer's intoxication at the wedding, it raised concerns about Mayan's decision to leave her daughter in the car with her. It was clear that Jennifer's recollection of the events was clouded by her level of intoxication, making it difficult to discern the truth. If she had been sober and the argument had escalated to the point of physical violence, it would have been a memorable enough event to recall the lead up to it. Jennifer was questioned about Gia's whereabouts. After a prolonged silence, she gently replied, "I am not sure." Another extended pause ensued, followed by the statement, "I would assume she is crying." After an extensive 4-day search, the authorities had no choice but to halt the operation. Despite the massive manpower dedicated to finding Mayan, there was no trace of her within a wide radius of where Jennifer claimed she exited the vehicle, prompting them to reduce their efforts. Nevertheless, they vowed to continue investigating Mayan's disappearance. Suspicion began to fall on Jennifer among the investigators. Her account of events seemed inconsistent, and when her lie detector test results were inconclusive, it only heightened their concerns about her honesty. However, a significant breakthrough was on the horizon. On August 23rd, the day after the search was called off, a group of joggers stumbled upon something while out for a run in Dayton. It was Mayan Cordy. The discovery marked the end of the search for the missing woman from Yamhill County. Mayan's body was found at the bottom of a steep rocky slope, 9 miles away from where Jennifer claimed she left her. This tragic revelation brought closure to a heartbreaking case. The community mourned Mayan's passing as they prepared for a summertime event in downtown Dayton. Her body was retrieved and taken to the medical examiner's office for further examination. The autopsy revealed that Mayan had sustained severe injuries. Her cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head, resulting in aortic separation and instant death. For the next month, there was little information released by the authorities regarding Mayan's case until a press conference was held on September 27th to provide an update. District Attorney Brad Berry eloquently narrated the sequence of events leading to Mayan's tragic demise during the exclusive press conference. The autopsy findings were meticulously discussed, revealing that Mayan's injuries did not align with a car collision, and the absence of damage on her bare feet indicated she had not walked a significant distance. Shockingly, Jennifer abruptly terminated her second polygraph test and ceased all cooperation with the investigators. The highlight of the conference was when Brad Berry disclosed that the medical examiner speculated Mayan exited the vehicle while it was moving at a speed exceeding 5 mph. Despite this revelation, the unfortunate incident was deemed accidental, resulting in no criminal charges being pressed. The investigators and district attorney theorized that Jennifer veered off course, leading to Mayans' fall or jump from the car, followed by a tragic descent down a steep embankment. Notably, there was no evidence of Jennifer accelerating before Mayans' exit, a crucial detail attributed to Gia. Jennifer Weathers faced charges of driving under the influence and reckless endangerment, culminating in a trial in October. Due to her failure to undergo a breathalyzer test, the prosecution relied solely on witness testimonies from the wedding attendees. Ultimately, Jennifer accepted a plea deal for driving while intoxicated, absolving her of any responsibility in her daughter's demise. The prosecutor and district attorney expressed their dismay over the absence of charges related to Mayans' death, publicly accusing Jennifer of misleading law enforcement. Following a brief stint in jail, Jennifer was placed on 3 years of probation, with Gia now residing with her father in Salem, Oregon, under strict orders prohibiting any contact with her Jennifer. The most recent development in the case occurred when Mayans' father filed a lawsuit against Jennifer for $500,000 due to negligence resulting in Mayans' death while driving under the influence. Additionally, he pursued legal action against the wedding venue for nearly $1 million for over-serving alcohol and failing to prevent Jennifer from driving while intoxicated. However, a judge dismissed the case after he failed to respond to a motion by the defense. The truth is, the circumstances surrounding Mayne Cordy's fate will likely remain a mystery. This is a case that will always be shrouded in more questions than answers, and given Jennifer's conduct, it is improbable that she will ever step forward to share a different narrative.